Good morning. Rick Mabe here. I want to touch base with you real quick this morning to once again ask you how you feel about the way things are going within our country right now. And I want to say that I'm learning more about the strategy behind these actions that are being taken toward totalitarianism in our country. And as I research, I'm really seeing the pattern in the strategy that's being taken by the people that have been trying to get us to this point for years. And we're in a kind of a what's called a menticide, where the masses are being brought to this state of psychosis where we're being forced into a position where we have to believe that we can't survive without our government taking care of us. And what does that mean for people who have been a free nation for 250 years now? Quietly and cleverly, we've been led down this road for many years. It started with Social Security and those kind of things, where people needed help. And I I'm going to depend on Social Security when I am retired because I have not saved enough for retirement from my various endeavors for whatever reason. There are reasons. I've gone bankrupt before. I've had some decisions that I've personally made that have left me with no substantial retirement money. But that's my responsibility, and I hold myself accountable for that. And so, at the age of 63, I am very aware of the decisions that I've made in my lifetime, where I should have made myself more affluent to be able to, when the time comes, take care of myself when I can't earn a living because maybe I might get too old to be able to work. But at the same time, I've also always felt that I could depend on the money that I put into Social Security to help take care of me in my retirement. So it's not altogether an irresponsible thing, because I've known that when I started paying into Social Security at the age of 13, when I started working and got my work permit, that I would have some retirement money put aside through Social Security to be able to take care of me when it came time to retire. So even though it's a forced thing, it's a kind of a security blanket to know that I've been putting money into Social Security, and though that's been used as I put money into it, it helps people that are already retired with my money to help other people. And I know that it's supposed to be there for me when I get old enough to retire. Even though the age has slipped out now, I was supposed to be able to retire when I was 65 when I started. Now it's 66 and a half. I'll be able to get some retirement. And if I wait till 70, I'll be able to get even more. But that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make to you today is, what is the answer for us to reverse the psychosis that was being placed upon us? And I was at a gathering the other day where I was talking to this with some people, and I was talking to them about the fact that all of these trillions of dollars that are being spent right now, or are being proposed to be spent, are going to be on the taxpayers' burden, on our backs of our kids and grandkids. And this person in the crowd jumped up and said, "Well, yeah, but didn't you enjoy getting that stimulus check?" And my response was, "Well, no, it's got to be paid back." And I got this stare back at me like this person didn't understand that. And so it's like, yeah, we're under this psychosis thing where we are being programmed to live with the understanding that government's going to take care of us, that we are going to turn our lives over to the government, that they're going to have complete control over what it is that how we make a living, how we are taken care of, that the government is the one that's going to create the jobs for us. The government's going to be the one that tells us where we can work and how much money we're going to make and that kind of thing. And I don't think that that's really what the founders of our country really anticipated. There's the idea that we should all be living in a kind of a Garden of Eden kind of living, and that'd be great. Man was given free will. Man has his weaknesses. So that we have to have governments, and we have to have ways in order to make sure that we are not being aggressive toward one another. Anti-aggression is all our government should be about. And we should live in our hearts with that anti-aggression in our minds. And something that me and my friends call the prime law. And when we get to that point, then we can say to ourselves that we don't need wars, we don't need things that cause other people harm, because we won't be able to harm one another. Until that point comes, we need to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and that kind of thing. We are evolving toward that. Anyone who believes that we can't evolve to that nirvana state is wrong. And and also though, the idea that we have to suddenly force a socialist agenda on an entire population through a totalitarian tyranny is absolutely wrong as well. And I think everyone knows that based on history, based on the history of mankind, that forcing the masses to live by a certain set of rules established by a one world government is going to lead to absolute revolution, because people are not going to stand for that. We must live freely. We must live with our own choices. We cannot become robots. We can't become people marching to the tune of a Hitler or to a tune of any dictator or totalitarian government. So what's the answer? Well, it's parallel structures. It's people getting together who want to continue to make sure that our country remains free, to be able to build on ideas and networks of people who understand, to know that we need to maintain a certain freedom from psychosis, a certain freedom from moral breakdown, that maintains human decency toward one another in our biological makeup, in our emotional states, in our mental states, in our physical states, that keeps a balance in things as we evolve toward the perfection that we all strive to be, without aggression, without totalitarian rule and tyranny and oppression. The United States is the best example of how we should be working toward the state of full equality, full-on freedom. Because at least now, at this minute, we still have those freedoms. We still have that ability to debate. We still have that ability to discuss and work on our problems together. But it's under attack. And we are facing some very serious challenges right now that could lead us down a different path to where your debate is not heard. When you silence people, when you censor people, when you keep people from being able to be heard, and you tell people that they must march to your tune or else, without being heard, and without being able to vote, without being able to discuss and determine through a system of decision points, then you are living under a dictator. You're living in a totalitarian, tyrannical rule where you are no longer free. You are no longer free to be heard, and you will be silenced. And that's what we're experiencing right now. So I want you to think about that as I'm talking to you right now, because um, my friends and I are working on the Hope Institute, We Care Partnerships, and Triangle Solutions Alliance, CIBN, some other people who share the vision of communities coming together to teach people how to fish, not to eat fish. Teach people. You give a man a fish, he can eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he can eat for a lifetime. That is from our scripture. That is from basic common sense thinking. When you have a restaurant owner who's trying to make a living, that is someone who can eat for a lifetime. When you teach someone to cook, when you teach someone to build a house, when you teach someone to repair a car, when you teach someone to write a book, when you teach someone to teach, when you teach someone to, I don't know, garden, you're teaching them how to fish and eat for a lifetime. When you give someone a stimulus check, when you give someone a guaranteed income for life, when you give someone free childcare, when you give someone a free college education, when you give someone this, when you give someone that, you're giving people the opportunity to be poor for life. Do you get my concept here? It's not to say that we don't help people in need when they need help. The Hope Institute is being developed in order to help people when they need help, but to help them to get out of needing help to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. Honesty, omnipotence, pure love, essence. We are here to help. We are here, we should all be here as human beings to promote self-reliance, creativity, and anti-aggression. So, I'm asking you to go to donate at livinghopeinstitute.org and pay at PayPal and donate. Give up some cash, help us make a difference. Or join us as a member. You can join We Care Partnerships. Contact me at rickmabe@livinghopeinstitute.org, and we can get you set up in a membership with We Care Partnerships Network with a business people working together to create other businesses, working in a business network, to create these parallel networks of people who are working to help people to be free, working to help people to disconnect from the illusion of freedom that is being put in your mind with this menticide that's being promulgated by certain people to control you. You need to be free to do what you need to do, what you were created to do. You were not created to be a little follow-behind ant feeding on the honey being left behind by dictatorial leaders or any of that. That is not what human beings are meant to do. And I think that when you think about it for a minute, you'll realize that's the truth. And there's nothing that makes us sicker than being stuck in a home and being desperate and feeling alone and that kind of thing. When something is put upon you that is causing you to feel desperate, they will give you honey and feed you just enough to help you feel like you're being taken care of. They will never give you enough to help you be completely independent and self-reliant. They will never do it. Because when they do that, then you don't have to be their own, they don't have to own you anymore. They don't have to control you anymore to be completely in power and to enrich themselves at your expense. So here's, I want to just posit this. I want to put this out to you. Most people start businesses for one of two reasons: to make things better for other people, or to sell their business and make some money. Because if you're not doing a business to help other people, then you won't be in business very long. help people buy things, to help people to build a house, to help people to build a car, to help people to help people. That's what businesses do. They help people. Otherwise, it's not a business. It's some illegal enterprise. Um, and you're either going to build that business and expand it to make a legacy, or you're going to build that business to sell it and retire and go do other things, start another business. So, uh, businesses are not there to corrupt and to, the business itself is not there to corrupt. The business itself is not there to take over countries and to do things that are wrong. Businesses are there to provide a service or something that helps other people. Um, People that sell cars, they're selling you what you need. You need a car, they're going to give you a car. They're going to sell you a car. Now, how they sell that car and what the method is they use to sell that car may not be the most um, moralistic, the used car salesman thing, but they are providing you with a needed thing to help you to get around. Same thing with clothes, same thing with houses, same thing with, it's all in the method that is used to provide you with that thing that you need. But they're not supposed to be there to hurt people. And so when we talk about who's going to save mankind, we talk about who's going to bring forward the tools necessary to help people to get out of their poverty, it's free enterprise, it's business. And so when we hear people talk about giving away money for the rest of your life, they're not helping you. They're only helping you to stay poor. Um, and at some point, when they pay you to be poor, you're going to get to a point where you're just going to wither away and be lazy, and you're just not going to do anything. That's not the human spirit. That's not what you are. You don't want to be 300 pounds laying around eating donuts all day, watching TV, and watching that check coming every month. Although you may think you do. America has become, I think I heard a thing the other day where we're 39th in education in the world. The United States. China is tearing us apart in education because we're lazy. We're decadent. And so we need to get over that. We need to get around that. We need to change that thinking. And we're not going to do it by doing what we're doing right now, heading down that path. Our previous leaders, and I know you hate Trump. I'm sorry you hate Trump. That's on you. This whole emotional thing. We learned the other day in some of the discussions we were having that people operate from emotions. They operate completely from emotions. My dad was telling me the other day about how effed up things are. People operate from emotion rather than logic. And the people, Trump is not a very likable guy. But you got to admit that what he was doing for our country was doing some miraculous things in the 4 years he was here. And if he had not been daily attacked every minute to try to take him down because of what the other people want to do, we could have done even more. But now, what's happening, man, they have reversed all the positive things he was doing for our country. And we are headed for a cliff that is just going to shove this whole country right off the edge. And that's not me talking, that's facts. I mean, you just watch what's happening right now, and I know you know it. You see it. You can't deny it. It's no longer a secret what these folks are trying to do. I don't think anybody can deny what these folks are trying to do to the United States of America at this point. So anyway, it's business. It's free commerce, free enterprise. It's now. When I say this, though, this is the point I'm trying to make about business. Business does need to be honest. Business does need to be ethical. Business does need to be held to a high standard of performance. Bertie Madoff, when he was put away, he wasn't running a business. He was running a scam. And he needed to be put away. Businesses need to be honest. When you're hiring someone to do something in your business, McDonald's comes to mind, right? One of the things about McDonald's is that they have never said that the people that they hire to sell their hamburgers. They're not there to develop a career. They're there to high school kids. That's what they want. They want high school kids that need a part-time job while they are going to school to learn about how to make a little bit of money, put in their pocket. Part-time, maybe even a college student working part-time, just needs some cash while they're going to school. So they pay them a minimum wage. Not because these people need to go out there and raise a family working at McDonald's. McDonald's has never been, other than in the management role, if you want to be a manager or you want to own a McDonald's, it's all about franchising with McDonald's, owning a McDonald's. But the people that work the line, they're not there to make a living. They're not there to work full-time in a job, make a living. It's straight up. But if you want to own a McDonald's, that's different. If you want to buy a franchise, great. You can get into it, you can buy a franchise, and you can make a lot of money. But if you want to be a worker and want to get into a trade, if you want to be a cook, you go to McDonald's, learn how to flip a burger. You can, but now it's almost automated. You watch how the hamburgers are cooked. You can put together a sandwich. But if you want to be a cook, you need to go to school and learn how to be a chef or a short order cook or something like that. You can make a lot of money cooking. So the idea of businesses being honest about how they're paying their people, it's also a thing of demand. If you're good at what you do, you demand a higher salary. If you're good at carpentry, you can make $30-40 an hour. If you're good at plumbing, you can make $100 an hour. It's all in how good you are at what you do, how much you know. My son is a plumber. I'm not going to tell you how much he makes because that's personal. I don't even really know how much my son makes. I kind of know because he sometimes hints around about it, but he's making some good money. If you're a good manager, my daughter makes good money. She's a manager of an organization right now because she worked hard at it. She didn't finish college, but she knows enough to where she's been working enough where her and her husband started a business. They tried it for a while. They did well for a while. And then some people who were not so honest in business took advantage of them, and it cost them their business. But you know what? They got out of the business. Now they're both working full-time because they're smart. Because they were in business. They learned how to make things happen. They learned from their mistakes. And so now they work for people. But they make good money because they know what they're doing. Because they're smart enough. Because they got the training that they needed. Because they know what the hell they're doing. Not because they needed a handout. Not because they were needing to be paid to be poor. People do what they are good at doing. And when they get good enough at doing what they're good at doing, they get paid well. That is how things work. I'm not here to lecture you about that. You know that. I don't need to tell you that. So this whole idea of our people in this country needing to be paid to be poor is ridiculous. So what we're doing, my friends and I, is we have started this thing called the We Care Partnerships Network. And we want people of a like mind, business owners, to help us to help others to develop the business mindset. And we need your help. We need for you to help us to help you to keep from being driven into this abyss that we're headed toward right now. So we're having events where we bring people in to talk about their passion and about their love for business and about their charities and things that they want to give to. The Hope Institute is a charity. We Care Partnerships Network is an LLC. Triangle Solutions Alliance is a corporation. CIBN is a corporation, a company. And we have groups of people that come together on these events and talk about what their passion is. They talk about what their business is. And they talk about what their favorite charity is. And so what we do is we get together and we talk about the things that we want to build, the things that we want to see people do. The Hope Institute wants to be a place where business heads come together, they build a place together where people in need of knowledge can come and learn about what it is they need to be and do to become self-reliant and independent business owners or employees of a business so that they can get out of the rut they're in. But they need a place they can go to get some refuge so that they can learn for a couple of years what it is they need to do. That's what the Hope Institute's going to be. We can't do it without funds and assistance from business owners who can see the value of the business model. It's like this. It's like you start a business institute, the Hope Institute, where we bring people in who are in trouble, and we put them in. We have you guys teaching them. We have you guys doing this. The turnover, the return on that investment is you have someone who's going to start a branch of your business, or there's going to be an employee who's going to be a valuable employee to you. Blah 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 blah. That's the way it works. Anyway, contact me, Rick Mave at livinghopeinstitute.org. Rick Mave at livinghopeinstitute.org, or you can donate by going to donate at livinghopeinstitute.org on PayPal. It's tax deductible on 501c3, the Hope Institute. And you can join us for our events. We're going to be announcing another one soon. We're going to be having it on Friday, Memorial Day weekend. It's a good time to come together, to give tribute to our patriots, and to talk about your passion. So, hey, check us out. Thank you. Have a good morning.